One of my boyfriend's close friends lied and said I hooked up with him multiple times in the past, and now my boyfriend thinks I'm a disgusting liar and kicked me out of his home. Posted by you/visiblebid9585. My boyfriend, 23M, and I, 23F, have been dating for about 10 weeks. When he officially asked me to be his girlfriend, we mutually agreed to take things slow. Now, after almost 3 months, we decided it was time to meet each other's closest friends. I know he's mentioned me to his guy friends before, but it was always vague, they just knew he was seeing someone. On Monday, my boyfriend and I were hanging out when I noticed he was being distant. For example, when I snuggled up to him, he didn't hug me back like he usually does. I thought he was just having a bad day, so I initiated sex, thinking it might lighten his mood. Afterward, I asked him if he was hungry and wanted to order food, but he just shrugged and said, "Don't know, I don't really care." At that point, I snapped and told him that if he wanted me to leave, he should just say so instead of treating me like that. He was silent for about 20 seconds before asking me if I knew one of his friends, let's call him Alex. I said I only knew about Alex from what my boyfriend had told me but that I'd never met him. My boyfriend asked if I was sure, and I said yes, 100%, because I'm positive I've never met Alex in my life. My boyfriend went silent again, then said fine and started putting on his shoes and jacket to leave. I asked him what was wrong and where he was going. He said, "I would have been fine with you hooking up with one of my friends before, but the lying is something I'm not putting up with. I'll go for a walk, and I want you to be gone when I'm back," before slamming the door. I stood there in shock, questioning if this was some kind of sick prank. After a few minutes, I realized he was serious. I called my best friend and told her what had just happened. I was so confused I couldn't even cry, I was just in shock. My best friend told me it was probably best to give him time and space, so I packed my things and left. She picked me up and took me to her place because she didn't want me to sleep alone. I texted my boyfriend, saying, "I just want to let you know that I have no idea what you were talking about earlier. I'm not lying, and I don't know Alex. I'm very confused right now, but I want to give you the time and space you might need. Please call me when you're ready to talk. I don't want to lose you over something like this. I love you." Then I turned off my phone to avoid staring at it all night. I couldn't sleep, so I turned it back on at 3 a.m. and saw a lengthy text from him. He said he was disappointed, that I'd hurt him, and that he wanted to talk the next day at his house. At 4 p.m., my best friend drove me to his house and waited in the car. My boyfriend was already waiting for me, but when I tried to hug him, he asked me not to touch him. I broke down crying, unable to speak, and he tried to calm me down. He then explained what had happened. He told me he had been hanging out with 5 of his friends when he mentioned that we were officially a couple and that he wanted me to join their group the next time the guys brought their girlfriends. They congratulated him and asked questions like how old I was and where we met. Then Alex asked to see a picture of me, and when my boyfriend showed him, one of the other friends, Mo, looked at Alex and asked if my boyfriend was joking. My boyfriend asked why he would be joking, and Alex said that I used to hook up with him occasionally for about 5 months 2 years ago. Mo accused my boyfriend of breaking bro code, saying there was no way he didn't know. The other friends joined in, saying it wasn't breaking bro code because Alex just banged me and it wasn't serious. My boyfriend was mortified and told him he never knew Alex was seeing me, and I never told him, even though I had seen Alex when my boyfriend showed me pictures of his friend or when Alex would snap him or things like that. My boyfriend asked him if he hadn't recognized me before from the things he told the guys about me or when he would post candid pictures of me, like me walking in front of my boyfriend, etc. Alex said he didn't recognize me earlier because I look different now. I've lost about 50 pounds and wear my hair differently. However, Alex knew specific details about my body, like tattoos and scars only visible when I'm in my underwear. My boyfriend said it hurt him to find out this way but that he could have gotten past it. What he couldn't forgive was me lying to his face. He believes I lied, and I understand why, given his past trauma with dishonesty, but I swear I've never met Alex before. I told him exactly that, but he didn't believe me. I think he took my apology as an admission of guilt. I left his place and broke down crying in my best friend's car. It's been 2 days, and he hasn't said anything. The uncertainty is killing me. How can I fix this relationship? Commenter. That's pretty sketch. It sounds like your ex is lying to get out of the relationship or something like that. Ops response. My best friend thinks he's lying to find a way out too. She believes he's realizing things are getting serious with us talking about meeting each other's friends and wants an excuse to break up now. His friends probably don't even know we're official yet. It just doesn't make any sense, he was the one who brought up meeting each other's friends. Also, I feel like, even though I might sound naive, he wouldn't lie to me. At least, I hope he wouldn't. I've come to Reddit because all my friends and family are telling me to just let him go because he's not worth it, but I honestly feel so heartbroken right now because it's something I had no control over. I've been making all kinds of suggestions to my boyfriend, but he's ignoring me. I just can't believe it's so easy for him to cut me out of his life completely. Update 2 months later. Hey guys, I've read all the comments you left under my last post. Even though I've been on Reddit for a while, I realized I don't really know how to do this update thing the right way, but I'll try anyway. First off, thank you all so much for your comments and advice, even though I didn't like reading some of the things you said at the time. It opened my eyes. I did not sleep with my ex-boyfriend's friend. I'm not lying, I know everyone I've ever been with, and he's not one of them. After my initial post, when my ex went radio silent, I had all the time in the world to reflect on our relationship. I started to realize there were only two options: either my ex was lying to me, or Alex was lying to him. I stopped reaching out to my ex, which I guess made him suspicious. 3 days after my post, my ex texted me asking if we could talk. At that point, I wasn't sad, I was mad. I texted him a message basically saying I'm not insane, I know what I did and didn't do, and that either Alex was ruining our relationship, or he, my ex, was lying to me. I told him I was done being framed as the bad person when I'd done nothing wrong. I also said there was no going back for me, especially since I'd started to build resentment toward him for sleeping with me right before everything blew up. I told him I'd rather wrap this breakup up as fast as possible. He read the message and typed for about 20 minutes before calling me. He was crying and asked if we could meet up. I agreed, but only on the condition that he bring all my stuff, because I wasn't playing this game anymore. I was staying at my parents' house at the time, so he drove there, still crying when he arrived. Honestly, I just wanted him to drop off my stuff and leave because I was afraid I'd cave. He asked if he could come inside to explain himself. I asked what there was to explain, but he insisted I deserved the truth before we broke up completely. So, I let him in, and we sat down to talk in my room. He started by saying I'm the woman of his dreams and that he'd messed up for life. He said life felt empty without me, which made me start crying too. I asked him to please stop and just tell me what was going on. He broke down sobbing hysterically to the point where I had to tell him to calm down and breathe. He told me Alex had said he'd slept with me and that I wasn't wifey material, encouraging him to break up with me. Alex told my ex to just ghost me because I didn't deserve closure. My ex admitted that he wanted me to confess to sleeping with Alex, so he came up with a plan to test me. He lied about Alex knowing about my scars or tattoos to see how I'd react and decide if Alex was telling the truth. He said my reaction made him feel like I was lying. My ex told his friends he was breaking up with me. When Alex found out, he freaked out and argued with my ex, denying that he'd ever told him those things about me. When my ex asked if he was lying, Alex said he wasn't but didn't want his business out there. At that point, I interrupted and asked my ex if he seriously believed that. He said no. That's when he realized Alex was lying. He said he went to Alex's place to confront him, but Alex's roommates wouldn't let him in because he seemed too upset. Instead, my ex went to another friend's house, one of the people who'd been there when Alex made his claims. That friend told my ex that Alex had always talked trash about him for dating me. For context, I'm black, and my ex and most of his friends, except one, are white. Alex would make jokes or share memes about black beaches and how no white guy in his right mind would date a black woman. The comments were deeply disturbing, but his friends dismissed them as just Alex's humor and assumed he was frustrated about being single. My ex said he thinks Alex did all this because he's low-key racist and didn't want his friends dating outside their race. I asked what about that crap was low-key and criticized him for not warning me or subjecting me to someone like Alex. He apologized profusely, saying he hadn't seen it clearly until now, which I find hard to believe. I was speechless. My ex had lied to me, tested me, and surrounded himself with racists. He went on about how amazing I am and how he'd ruined everything for another 5 minutes before I asked if there was anything important left to say. He said no, but asked me to consider mending the relationship with the help of God. I didn't say anything. I just opened the door and asked if my stuff was in his car. He said yes, so we went downstairs. I got my stuff, and he asked if he could hug me. I said I didn't know, but he hugged me anyway and apologized again. I went inside and called my best friend. Since then, my ex has reached out about 10 times until I blocked him. One of his friend's girlfriends even reached out, saying she felt for me and that Alex never said anything like this in front of her. She claimed, "We've all been deceived." I told her that if her intentions were good, she should tell my ex to ensure none of them ever contact me again. As strange as it sounds, finding all of this out has made it easier to move on. I'm still in shock and hurt, but I've realized I never truly knew who my ex or his friends were. In the past few weeks, I've started healing and reflecting, especially on my attachment style, as some of you suggested. I've never been single or not dating for longer than a month, and I tend to fall for people with a lot of emotional baggage. I'm working on that now. I'm sorry if you were expecting a dramatic plot twist where I admit to sleeping with Alex or something. Thank you again for all your comments. Commenter. Wait, I'm confused. Your ex and his friends knew Alex was a low-key racist, which is just a racist with extra steps, but believed that he'd slept with you, a black woman. That doesn't make sense. Ops response. I think my ex genuinely dismissed Alex's tendencies and didn't question them. On top of that, one of the guys in their friend group is black and Muslim. I'm mentioning that because Alex has also made discriminatory jokes about Islam in the past. So, I think they all knew he'd say problematic stuff like that but didn't consider him racist. Or he'd say racist things and still hook up with women outside of his race but not get serious with them? Honestly, I don't understand what's going on in their heads. Commenter. Here's the thing about our friends. It's not BS when he says that he didn't really think his friend was actually racist and didn't pay much attention to it. When someone is your friend, they're your friend because you trust them and see the good in them. You tend to have a blind spot when it comes to your best friends. So, when your best friend tells you that they slept with your girlfriend, you're more likely to believe them because why would your friend make that up? It doesn't make sense to you. In my view, two people are being punished here. I think the op was punished for something she didn't do and was treated terribly by her boyfriend's friend. I also believe her boyfriend is being punished because he put his trust in his friend, and that cost him his relationship. I understand that the op is mad at him for not believing her, but I think she also needs to understand that it's not like he was choosing to believe a complete stranger. He was choosing to believe someone who had been his friend for a while and, up until this point, had given him no reason not to trust him completely. I think that's something that shouldn't be glossed over. Both people in this relationship deserve a lot of sympathy. It sucks to be betrayed by someone you trust. Op's response. Me breaking up with him wasn't a punishment but a decision I made for myself. Honestly, yes, I was disappointed and shocked after everything my ex told me, but I wasn't mad at him. There was just no way the relationship could have continued after what happened. 1. Because I had zero trust in him anymore, which leads to 2. I only know about Alex's racist tendencies through third parties. What if it's even worse than I've been told, and Alex is a serious danger for me to be around? I also didn't want to put myself in the position of making my ex choose between me and Alex, and potentially his whole friend group. I'm not the best at standing my ground or setting boundaries, especially when it comes to romantic relationships, and I've taken many exes back in the past. But this is something you cannot come back from. Commenter. See, here's the problem with a couple of the things you just said. First of all, you say that you could not trust your boyfriend anymore, but all he did was believe his friend, who logically he would have no reason, up until that point, not to trust, hence why they were friends. So, you're saying that you lost trust in him not because of anything he personally did to you, but only because he listened to someone else. Second, you said that you have no actual proof of this Alex person's racist tendencies, you've only ever heard about it from other people. So, you are making a decision based on what someone else has told you about a person, which is exactly what you're breaking up with your boyfriend over. He also made a decision based on something someone else told him. You've only heard stories from other people, and yet you're now concluding that you could possibly be in danger by being around this person. I think that's a pretty large exaggeration. Now, could this guy be racist? Probably, I don't know, and I've never witnessed any of it, and neither have you. Could he just as likely not be a racist but simply tell some really bad jokes? Of course he could. The point is, you don't know. You cannot say that you can't be with somebody because trust is broken due to them believing something about you from a third party when you're doing the exact same thing, believing this guy is racist based on a third party's word. I mean, if you truly don't want to be with this person, then that is obviously your decision. If, in your heart, you cannot be with this person and you don't love them, then I wish you nothing but luck and hope you find the happiness you're looking for in a partner. But labeling someone a racist is a very serious allegation, and personally, if I'm going to label someone as racist, sexist, or any type of bad person, I'd need a lot more proof than just hearing something about them, even though I never saw a hint of it myself. But I wish you luck, God bless. Op's response. I don't trust him because he lied to me, and feeling like you can trust someone or not is not a choice. If Alex isn't actually racist, that would just mean my ex is lying again because he's told me about several instances of Alex being racist. I get what you're saying, but none of it is changing how I feel, and I can't control how I feel. Also, I don't like how you're saying that me thinking Alex could be a potential danger is an exaggeration. Lying about hooking up with someone with the intention of breaking off a relationship is scary. It also implies that Alex didn't want me around my ex. At the end of the day, I'm not trying to find out what lengths Alex would go to, so I chose to leave.